Hello, folks. Lindsey Huddleston back in the building again with another SPS Mental Health Moment. Here with a very impressive young man I've been knowing for several years. And, just happy to be able to stay connected with him. Terry McCord Jr. How you doing, man?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Good, good. I see you repping that Eastern Quaker pride over there, right?
Always, yes, sir.
Good. The CAAC champions. You guys got a championship out of this season, huh?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I had your coach, Dave Jones, on the radio show with Jack Ebling and I, and was talking about that. But what we're really talking about today is just as an SPS Mental Health Moment is what the experience has been like for you as a senior getting ready to transition. Was a super athlete, basketball, football. I mean, you've had some great sports seasons with where the program was and where it's at now, your next academic move. And you were really candid with me when we talked about, there is some anxiety out there. There is some other stuff out there. And you were quick to say you wanted to be able to share that on an open platform because that may be something that can help other young people who may be going through what you're going through. So just tell me how you're feeling about things right now that we're going through this COVID-19.
One thing is like not trying to stress over things that you can't control. I think that's a big thing for me because I had a lot of like things change due to like the virus. But I think another thing is to stay productive. Always trying to look to do something. Like I got a couple books to read, exercise, work out. Just do different things to keep your brain stimulated during these times because you don't want to fall back. Like I tell my friends and my family's told me that this virus is going to bring out a lot of champions, like those that are continuing to work and keep their brain stimulated. It's going to separate a lot of people. So I don't want to fall behind. So I just got to keep working and, just trust that there's better days coming, really.
Terry, I think you have an excellent attitude and approach about how to deal with this. I think many people get caught up because they're not used to being on lockdown. They're used to having these active lifestyles. And it's been once said the hardest thing for a man or woman to do is to sit alone in a room with their thoughts, meaning that you can't just go out. For you representing the class of 2020, I mean, wow, what a life reality check, to have your senior year shut down, basketball playoffs shut down, prom, all these type of things that you've kind of been looking forward to for so long to stop. Do you see it as, one of your first big life lessons already?
Yeah, and another thing about like you said, life lesson, just not taking things for granted. I learned that earlier in the year, like with the concussion and stuff, but really now it's just like things can really be taken away, especially with things you can't really control. Like I said, I learned that with the injury and now due to the virus. But I feel like our school has been doing a really good job keeping all of us connected, celebrating the graduates, and really showing off our hard work and putting it on the pedestal where our family can see it and making us feel good about it because they know that these are the times that we worked hard for, and us not being able to celebrate and do those things that we wanted to do can't hurt, and it's bringing a lot of people down. But I think, and like myself down, but I mean, just seeing like the little celebrations we do about Decision Day, it kind of gives us that mood of like, things will be okay and our hard work isn't being unnoticed.
Great. So you said the acknowledgement was really important to be able to see those things. So for those who put that together, you're giving a testament that did go a long way, that, you got to get some kind of recognition.
Right. Yeah, it was really cool. It was cool to see like our friends and family just watching and celebrating you.
Right. So you were able to do it despite being person to person and face to face through the internet. I want to go back to something you mentioned about the injury. Of course, you experienced a concussion during football season, and it had you out for a significant amount of time, right?
Yes, sir.
Would you say that injury almost prepared you a little bit for what's going on now? Not that you expected this would happen, but having that time away from what you wanted to do and was ready to do but couldn't, did that kind of give you a preparation?
A little bit. I didn't really think about it like that. I would say, yeah, I would say it did because, I mean, at that time, I would much rather be playing football or getting ready for the basketball season. So I was kind of forced to kind of find other ways to be productive, put more of my energy towards schoolwork, which I was already doing well in, but, giving my extra like 10%. Now I was forced to kind of look outside of sports, like find different things I like to do, which reading is a big thing I like to do. Like listen to podcasts, different things to enrich my mind with. So I think it was kind of cool that it kind of prepped me a little bit. It wasn't really a prep that I wanted,
Right.
but it definitely was something that I really do appreciate more than I really hate about it. So it's definitely prepped me for now.
The interesting thing about being a young person, how old are you now, Terry?
18.
18. But being 18, in most cases, 18-year-olds don't have as much life experiences as people older than them. I'm not saying that you don't have some unique situations, but it's kind of like this COVID-19 experience has kind of forced you guys to kind of grow up really fast, because when you're 18, man, like it's this prom, it's being a senior, life is like, hey, life is everything you want it to be, right? But then you get the situation where you're not in control as you have been. But a lot of older people are saying, well, hey, that's life. And I know it may sound cold, but it's kind of like people who have been through things before, not like COVID-19, but other experiences have gone through this, but now they're telling you. So do you feel that this was like a big life experience is kind of preparing you for other challenges that may come?
Right. And I think what other way to do it than the year before you're technically like an adult, like you're making that big move. And I think a lot of people are kind of realizing that, this is a big step, but whenever life throws you obstacles or things that you necessarily can't control, I think, with you all through the years of working hard, I think if you just keep up that hard working, that work ethic, I think you'll be fine. And I think a lot of people, like my friends and stuff, have really been leaning on each other during these times, to really let's keep going, let's go, stay productive. You know what I mean? Like making a community, not too far, even though we're socially distancing, but still making us feel close, that we got somebody we can rely on or talk to.
Right. You're being an excellent ambassador, not only for your school, your peers, but also your parents. Terry McCord Sr. and Kelly McCord, I know they're super proud. But, let's talk a little bit about those who may not have that kind of support network, have the parental support, have those type of friends, have teammates and things. This is May Mental Health Month, and I do want to share a resource that we can talk about. It's the crisis text line. So any of your friends or peers who may be watching this, they can text 741-741, and they'll get a response from someone who can help them if they're going through a crisis. So what advice or what would you share to someone who may not have that, team camaraderie like you have and have these other kind of experiences that you have? What kind of advice would you share to those folks?
Really just don't be afraid to ask for help. I think one thing that I was going through, with my concussion, I was going through depression, and the biggest thing that I love myself for going through that time is asking for help. I think now that I really think about how I asked for help and really reached out to get help, I think that was probably the biggest move that I could have made, whether it's basketball, academics, any of that. I think just stepping out, asking for help when I didn't really want the help really made the biggest difference to me. And I think if you're dealing with any kind of crisis moment, ask for help. It's really gonna pay off, and you're really gonna feel the relief once you get through it, and you're really gonna love yourself for it.
Oh man, that's a powerful statement, Terry. Let's dissect that a little bit. Let's talk about that moment between feeling you needed help and making a decision to reach out. Talk about if that's a challenging moment, or what was the breaking point to finally make you say, I can reach out, or what even gave you the confidence to reach out?
I think it was, I knew something was up, but I didn't really know what it was. I feel like a lot of bad days connected, like I was in some kind of fog, and me being a naturally positive, outgoing kind of person to other people, it was really weird. And I was really just going through my symptoms of what I was feeling. I'm like, this isn't me. And so I'm really somebody who loves being myself and loves being outgoing. I'm like, how do I get myself to there? I don't know what to do. I don't have the necessary resources to do that. Or my parents are trying to bring me up, but it's not really working. So I talked to my parents about it, just man, something is really going on. And so then later, I found out it was depression. I needed to ask for help. And my parents didn't really have to force me to ask for help. I was just I want to go back to being that positive person that I know I can be, and it was just really kind of inspiring a little bit to man, another obstacle in these hard times with the injury. Like, I gotta get out. I gotta go back to being myself, because everybody sees me as, like, you know, that positive kind of figure. And I'm like, man, I gotta, like, that's me. Like, I gotta get back to it, you know?
Right. So it seems that you're very self-aware of who you are, and you are aware to the point that you can recognize the difference. What advice can you give to other young people, your peers, when they get to that point where they feel that they're not being themselves, to really dig deeper and say, okay, you can get back to who you were?
I think it's just going, just kind of spending time with yourself, you know, whether it's journaling, talking to yourself. I do that often. Just doing different things to make yourself feel that comfort of being aware. Give yourself that attention. So, like, you know how you give others attention, but really give yourself that attention you need. Like, whether it's like doing the things you love, like I said, or it's just kind of reflecting over the thoughts that's going on. You know, set goals. Like, do you want to be like this for yourself? Or if you don't really love yourself yet, or you're not self-aware of who you are, set goals and then keep track of how your thoughts are going. You know, that's something that I had to do, and just like set goals and really kind of see where you're going, like how your brain is really thinking. Is it shifting to being more positive about yourself, or is it staying kind of in the middle, or is it going negative? You know, just to kind of to keep a, you know, a physical track of how you're doing is really a big thing.
Amazing, amazing. I noticed when you talked about those things you like to do, you didn't mention social media. And I'm not here to judge social media, because of social media, we're going to better share this message. But talk about how important it is to be able to pull away from social media, even when you have to overcome sometimes a chemical response that wants you to get those likes and see all those things. But talk about how it's important to try to separate yourself from social media at times.
I think just to think about how none of that stuff is really real. I know a lot of it is it's really cool to show off and like show off your different accomplishments and your achievements, but I mean, a lot of that doesn't really matter. I think as long as you understand your worth and what you're doing is good for you, I think it doesn't really matter about likes. Like, yeah, everyone likes to feel the support, and, you know, they give you that attention that you deserve for working hard. But I think you shouldn't solely base yourself on those likes, because say you get a big achievement and you get 2 or 3 likes, you don't base off that achievement off of likes. I mean, that's still huge. Like, that achievement is really big for you, and to continue to see yourself more than what social media may perceive you as.
Yeah, you're right about that. It's really easy to get caught up in this idea of your social media responses to determine the value of yourself or whatever you've done. I laugh to myself because I can post things like, oh, this is going to be good, and get a mediocre response. But I think the one time I posted some food, I got more likes for the food than anything else, you know? So it's almost like you can't put too much in that. Terry, the only reason I'm going to wrap this up, because you said so many great things, and I want to be able to have this in a concise, you know, space that so many people can look at and see it. You're doing an excellent job. But before we wrap up, tell me some things you can share to your peers or to others, just to be a positive, encouraging word that can help people going forward with this post-COVID-19 world we'll soon be in.
Couple things I would say is just we learned some things during this during COVID-19. Respect hygiene for one, and just stay positive. And the world's getting better, like just cleaner, and just we're learning different simple things to make the world better. I would say just keep that going and continue to increase like with the earth stuff, but just on a personal level. Another thing on a personal level, not just the earth, but for us just to remember that things aren't really always given to us. We always got to earn. It's earned, not given. Something that LeBron would always say. That's a quote that I usually use. Everything's earned, not given. If you're not dealt a good card, you just gotta keep working and just keep playing. You never know how things are gonna end up. Things may seem dark at times, but there's always gonna be light at the end of the road if you keep your head going. And if you keep your head down and just keep going. So stay positive.
Wow, great words by a great young man. I'm really happy to have Terry McCord Jr. here on the SPS Mental Health Moment. A great ambassador, not only for your school, not only for your family, but for your peers. So hearing you talk gives me great faith in the future, because I know there are going to be young leaders like you out there making the right decisions and leading the way. So I appreciate you, man. Best of luck to you. I'm going to keep supporting you and be on your bandwagon all the way, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
All right, John, well done. I'll talk to you soon, okay?
Okay, thanks.
You are welcome.